This leads into the second commandment, which is you shall not make any graven images. This is how these gods get their authority. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. What is a graven image? We totally misunderstand this, I think, and I know my opinion is a little controversial, but a graven image is an idol, a graven image, or a standing image. Strong's Dictionary, an idol is vain or vanity. Vanity, it's fake, it's not real. That's what that word means. A graven image is an idol or a carved image, so you carve it. A standing image is something stationed, a column or a memorial stone. These images represent something or someone. It could be a statue. It would represent someone and their jurisdiction. You see a statue of Caesar or whoever, it's their jurisdiction. It could be a plaque. Or it can be a column or a pillar. And a lot of times the plaques were on the pillars. The real purpose of the second commandment has nothing to do with the images, for even God commanded that we make images. There's nothing wrong with images. 2 cherubims were to be placed on the Ark of the Covenant. Was that wrong? Cherubim's something in heaven, and God said don't make an image in heaven, right? But that's not what it's all about. Solomon used 2 pillars in the temple called Jachin and Boaz. Right. So it's okay to... Images aren't wrong, you guys. We just need to realize that. God is not concerned about the images of His own creation. Rather, He is concerned about whom we serve. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? He said, the image of gold, bow down and worship him. But they weren't fooled. They knew exactly what it meant. We will not serve your gods. They knew exactly what that meant. Bowing down was signing a contract. Britain still does. When you kiss the ring, you're recognizing a God, an authority. You know, we shake hands, we salute, we do all those things are recognizing that authority. You can put it on paper and sign the contract. It's the same thing. Graven images are always served. You can have a statue, it doesn't mean you serve it. This means a contract is involved. Confounded be all they that serve graven images. So they're served. It's not just the image. I have 2 statues of Labrador retrievers because we breed labs. And I like labs, but I don't serve them. There's no contract I have with it. It's just a neat statue. And I feel no guilt about having it. And you guys shouldn't either for having any statues.
And you don't bow down.
No, I don't bow down to it. But I'm not even the act of bowing down to it today doesn't make a contract. So it'd be silly. There's some religions that do that today, but there's no contract involved. So it's kind of silly and pointless and religious, but it's probably not as bad as we like to think, but it's definitely not right. But this means a contract is involved, which is why God said don't make covenants with them nor with their gods. How do you make a covenant with a god if it's just some mythical being up in space? Oh, it's a real person. Person is really not the best word. The Bible calls it a master-servant relationship. You can have a master and a servant relationship. Today, this is called a guardian-ward relationship. A guardian is a person lawfully invested with the power and charged with the duty of taking care of the person and managing the property and rights of another person. God's our master. That's His job. That's the duty under the covenant. He gives us blessing and curses. That's what He's doing. The ward is the person over whom or over whose property a guardian is appointed. Okay? How do these relate to graven images? Today, we simply call them corporations. This is something that's strange to most people, but it is so true. It's honestly scary when you really think about it. But look what a corporation is. Hale versus Hinkle. If there's a lawsuit you want to read, this is it. There's probably like 5 to 10 of them that every believer should read. This is one of the top ones. Here's what it said about corporations. A corporation is a creature of the state. The state is sovereign over the corporation. A corporation is incorporated for the benefit of the public. A corporation is a state franchise. It's a state privilege. A corporation is subject to the laws of the state. Its powers are limited by law. It must obey the laws of its creation. And a corporation has no constitutionally protected rights. I mean, why would a church ever incorporate if you really think about it? And every church does today. You've basically traded gods. You said, okay, let's get rid of Yahweh and we'll sign up for the state. That's our new God. That's what you do when you incorporate, and we don't even realize it. We don't see it today.
It also applies to 501c3.
Well, that's what a 501c3 church is. It's an incorporated church. Okay? They have a corporate charter. Right in the middle of the corporate charter is the state seal. That's the graven image, you guys. This is the graven. They're even bumped on the thing. We don't engrave it anymore, but it's raised up and bumped. It's the exact description of the scripture. A statue is a standing image. I didn't know the term, but that's basically what it is. It's the modern way. We're not engraving it like they used to, but it's on paper now. Okay? These images represent a jurisdiction. When you come to America and you see the Statue of Liberty, don't you know, oh, that's America. Yeah, we know what that represents. The state seal is placed on buildings that have that jurisdiction. It's placed on a corporate charter because the jurisdiction is the states. They were doing this in biblical times. They're doing it now. Look at Jeremiah 10. A lot of people mistake this for talking about Christmas. But this is the clearest way to connect a graven image to a corporation. It says, learn not the way of the heathen, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hand of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver, and they fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. It's vain, it's vanity, it's not real. It's a person, but it's not real. It's not building a Christmas tree. Okay? Christmas trees don't talk. You see what I'm saying? It's a man. It's an image that represents a man. They must needs be born, so they're not real, because they cannot go, they cannot move. It's not a real thing. It's the doctrine of vanities is the next verse. Vanities, that's idol. Okay, the work of cunning men. The gods have not made the heaven and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. Again, it's a graven image. They're talking about a graven image in this whole chapter. We want to connect it to Christmas for some reason. They are vanity. This is a fake person. That's what we're talking about. It's an artificial person is what this is. Okay, that's what the whole description is of a graven image. If you look up the definition of a corporation, the very first word is an artificial person or being endowed by law with the capacity of perpetual succession, consisting either of a single individual, termed a corporation soul. It's the way Satan reproduces. He's making fake people, and we're getting contracted into them. Yeah. Is exactly what he's doing. And we don't see it because we don't define the terms correctly. We see graven image and corporation, they're two totally different things. All Satan's been doing is changing the words and religiousizing them, and we think graven image is something we're bowing down to, and that's not at all what it is. It's a corporation today. Graven images. There's the state seal. That's our corporation. Graven image, likeness of anything that is in heaven above, the earth beneath, the water. Don't bow down to them nor serve them. The likeness of heaven above, the likeness of earth, the likeness from water. Don't bow down to them by signing a corporate charter, because that means you serve them. The reality is we do it every day. America is incorporated. Yeah. Every god has their own graven image. The president has one, the vice president, the governor, and the mayor. And they stamp that seal when they have jurisdiction and when they own something. And this is the same thing that was happening in Israel thousands of years ago is happening to us. You just switch the terms. We're doing it on paper instead of on a graven thing. We still do the Statue of Liberty in some of our jurisdiction that way. Some of our federal buildings have graven images on them, and it represents a jurisdiction. It's the same situation. No different. Look what President Thomas Jefferson said about corporations. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their money, first by inflation and then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of their property, take away their liberty, perfect law of liberty, remember? Until their children will wake homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. That's what idolatry does. It takes away that perfect law of liberty. President Abraham Lincoln said this: as a result of war, corporations have been enthroned, and a god, a king, and an era of corruption in high places. Does that not sound biblical? High places will follow. And the money power of the country will endeavor to prolong its reign by working upon the prejudices of the people until all wealth is aggregated in a few hands and the republic is destroyed. That's already happened. This is past tense.
Yeah.
He warned us of it prior to it. This is past tense. President Grover Cleveland said this: as we view the achievements of aggregated capital, we discover the existence of trusts, combinations, and monopolies while the citizen is struggling far in the rear or is trampled beneath an iron heel. Corporations, which should be the carefully restrained creatures of the law and the servants of the people, are fast becoming the people's masters. Corporations are the gods of America.
Yeah.
They are. And if you really study America, I don't know if I have it in this one, but yes, I do have it in here later, but I'll just give you a hint to it now. America, the United States is a corporation. In 1871, we incorporated the United States. And every state is incorporated. Every city is incorporated. Just about. I live in a city that's not, and I have a lot more freedoms as a result of that. You see what I'm saying? These corporations are not the right thing. It's a bad thing, and we'll see more of that. That's the second commandment in America. That's what we're doing.
Unincorporated area of town or something?
Yes, there's still restrictions because I live in an incorporated county,
Right.
in an incorporated state,
Right.
in an incorporated country.
Right.
So, but you do have more freedoms.